Hi, this is Chloe, and this is
Dave.
Amazing. We have Dave with us today. We're so excited. Dave is our product designer here at littleBits, and we have a special guest. But before we get started, what are we going to talk today? Today we're going to talk about how to design irresistible learning activities through storytelling and play. But before we start, speaking of play, what is your favorite game, David? Is it by any chance an Olympic sport?
Yes.
What is it?
My favorite is gymnastics.
Ooh.
Because it is the closest humans come to being superheroes.
Oh, that's I would argue my favorite game is synchronized swimming, which I would argue is the closest you can become to an elegant superhero. So, curious to see what everybody on the chat thinks. What is your favorite game? This is going to be our little icebreaker for the day.
Mm-hmm.
So we also have a special guest today. David, do you want to tell us about our special guest? He's right here, right there.
So our special guest is Logan Smalley, and he's the founding director of TED-Ed, which is an education initiative of TED, a nonprofit devoted to ideas worth spreading and famous for its TED Talks. You might have seen the littleBits TED Talk. Logan and his team work with teachers and animators to create short, curiosity-invoking videos around topics typically taught in schools.
Also, if you guys really like this community call today, just so you know, next month, who are we going to have as a guest?
Speaking of the TED Talk, none other than Aya.
Aya is going to be here next month, the end of June, and we're going to have an amazing community call. But we also have a big announcement. There's going to be a drum roll now.
Drum roll for the announcement. It is going to be the first ever BitOlympics.
What are BitOlympics?
BitOlympics are the leading international littleBits event featuring summer or winter, depending on where you are, games in which thousands of visitors from around the world participate in a variety of competitions.
The BitOlympic Games are considered to be the world's foremost littleBits event, with more than 100 cities participating. So mark your calendar, July 10th. What was that date?
July 10th.
July 10th. We will light the torch with a giant global make-a-thon and embark on 4 weeks of making and playing with the community. I believe Syed might have a torch, so I don't know. Look for Syed in the rooms. So, hi, Logan.
Hi, how's it going?
Yeah, welcome to the littleBits community call. So I guess like the obvious first question is, what is your favorite Olympic sport?
Olympic sport. I grew up in Athens, Georgia, and when the Olympics were in Atlanta, the soccer was played in my hometown. So I got to see all of the men's and all of the women's soccer. Our family went crazy that year, and instead of going on vacation, we watched all the soccer. So the beautiful game. That's my favorite Olympic sport.
We'd love to hear a little bit more about the program that you run.
Yeah, my pleasure. Thank you for having me. I wish I was in your office. It looks a little bit cooler than my brick wall, my empty brick wall. But yeah, I'm part of the TED-Ed team. I'm actually looking out over most of my team. There's about 15 people on the team, and we run TED-Ed, which is TED's educational initiative. And today I want to quickly tell you guys, I know we're going to have a conversation, but I just want to quickly go over 3 programs that we run. And also, it's interesting to note, I think, that the way that I got involved in this was through the TED Fellows program, which is where I met Aya, who everyone seems to know.
Yeah, we've heard of Aya.
Yeah.
We see her sometimes.
Yeah, she's one of my favorite people in the world, and obviously I love littleBits, and I'm really excited to get to know the community a little bit more right now. So TED-Ed is you know, the mission is to celebrate the ideas of teachers and students around the world. So I think most people know TED for TED Talks, and what TED-Ed is about, as a launched initiative, it's about 3 years old. And so what we did is we spent 1 year researching, talking to teachers and students around the world on what TED-Ed could and should be. And so one thing is, which I'll show you a little bit later, is we definitely optimize TED Talks for the classroom. We create interactive activities around them so that teachers can use them. But the 3 programs that I want to tell you about today are actually exclusively sort of TED Ed programs. And the first one is TED Ed Clubs, and this is really where we celebrate the ideas of students. This is the newest program that we've launched. It's been launched for 1 year, and we already have over 1,500 TED Ed clubs in over 80 countries around the world. And basically what it is students meet together regularly for 13 meetings. They can do it in 13 days, they can do it in 13 weeks, they can do it in 13 months. It's up to them and their participating teacher. And in each meeting, they learn a presentation skill, and at the end, they give a TED Talk. And if their TED Talk is great, they can share it, and of course, we're happy to share it too. So basically, it's students learning sort of presentation literacy skills. And I understand, a lot of the people in this community are makers, and I think one cool way to think about how, presentation literacy fits in is once you make something incredible, right? Like that's a huge important part, but another huge important part of communicating that project is being able to present it, say why it's important, how you got there, how you didn't quite get there, but you'll get there next time. Whatever it is, being able to share that idea is incredibly powerful, and TED Ed Clubs helps TED Ed students who are using TED Ed around the world do that.
One question we had as we were kind of looking through the different programs that you guys are running is how integrated this idea of storytelling is in the curriculum you guys put out and the activities you do.
Sure. Well, I mean, so in the context of TED Ed Clubs, there's an entire sort of 2 meetings talking about how to give a great presentation. And of course, one of the #1 recommendations is for storytelling. But I actually think my next slide might allude to how we use storytelling on a daily basis internally. So another thing that we do is we create, well, let me back up. TED Ed is an open nomination platform, and so that means that anyone listening now or anyone in the world can nominate themselves or someone else, and you can basically pitch a lesson idea. And we work with educators to craft that lesson idea, to hone it down into a 3-minute audio recording. And then we pair that audio recording with professional animators from all over the world. So we work with hundreds of professional animators. We've done about 450 of those videos to date, and they've been viewed over 140 million times. They're also translated into over 80 languages. And this is all happening on ed.ted.com and on our YouTube channel. But it's a really exciting way. And to get back to your question, when we talk one-on-one with these educators on the phone about crafting these lessons, storytelling, what it really does, I can actually tell you scientifically what it does. Sometimes when we fail to incorporate storytelling, we see the watch time on the analytics of that video sort of drop off towards the middle. Stories have, I'm not sure exactly how, but they have a way of engaging you thoroughly from beginning to end. Maybe it's as simple as wanting to hear the ending. Maybe it's something, ingrained in us that it's been our, sort of primary form of communication since we developed the ability to communicate. But regardless, using narrative, using story is an incredible way to engage students and also to think of systems and other things as stories is another thing that works really well as well.
Speaking of systems, I kind of wanted to pass the torch a little bit to David. So I think like systems design and systems thinking is something we talk a lot about here at littleBits when we design activities. So yeah, I wonder like what are the kinds of systems maybe that you play with?
Sure. I think one of the things that we really focus on, the sort of design team, is the user experience, and is what is it like to use littleBits from the moment when you first open your kit box or you first open the kit booklet all the way until you're at the point where you're ordering individual bits online and talking with community members and building all kinds of new projects. And like for us, that is a narrative. That is a story of the person
journey.
Progressing. It is that journey. And so for us, it's about it's about sort of creating a mental image of what that journey could be and how we could make it the best journey possible.
Yeah.
And then kind of going through and writing that story for people. And it's like the way we try and approach it is a little bit more like a choose your own adventure, where we don't want it to be like, this is the story, you do step 1, 2, 3, and 4, because there are so many community members out there who learn in so many different ways and use littleBits in so many different ways, and so we try and create a choose your own adventure where people can kind of pick their path through.
Yeah. I mean, that is something I also love in the, TED-EDU programs, that they're, in a way, they're highly remixable, right? So, like, you have all these people from around the world kind of participating, and they adapt, the stories, or, like, the way those are integrated into, like, their own programs, based on their needs, I guess. Do you have any maybe examples of that, of, like, how people have taken curriculum maybe from a TED-EDU, or these beautiful animations, and integrated it in maybe surprising ways in different countries or contexts?
Absolutely. I guess the first thing I would say is there's actually one particular animation in our library called A Hero's Journey, and it is about Joseph Campbell's ideas about storytelling. And watching that actually gives you an incredible framework to think about the commonality of storytelling and to identify where you are in a storytelling, whether you're reading it or whether you're crafting it. So that just came to the top of my mind. There's one that I recommend that everyone watch, and it's also a really beautiful animation. But in terms of your question, TED-Ed, the platform, the authoring tool, it's completely designed to be flexible and to allow you to quickly sort of remix and contextualize content around any video on the web. So I mean, so it's not just about creating activities around TED Talks or these TED-Ed animations I'm talking about. In fact, you can create lessons around littleBits videos, or if anyone in the community creates videos themselves, you can use the platform to quickly contextualize it for whatever the learning scenario you're trying to operate in. And then the really neat thing is that once you do that, you can actually toggle a setting that allows other people to do that as well. So a lot of times what happens is one teacher will create one lesson, and then the other teachers on his or her team will quickly contextualize it towards their learners, depending on if it's an age difference or an experience difference, or a number of other variables. But the platform itself is designed to help you quickly contextualize it for the learners that you're working with.
I guess we have some questions from our community. So one of the questions is like, what tips do you have for somebody just starting a program? We have a lot of people that run their own maker spaces or education programs. Like, what tips you might have being doing this for some time?
Well, I mean, I think the most important thing is to realize that to make sure you're surrounded with and engaging with a great team. So whoever your teammates are that are helping launching it, I think that's like what at least has been such a special part for me about the TED-Ed experience. And then I think also remembering, and I don't think I might be preaching to the choir here, but remembering that everything is iterative. So launching something is not the end by any stretch. It literally is the launch. It literally is the beginning. And in fact, you should want to change it in a month. You shouldn't want to get it right the first time, because it's way more right once people are using it and you make those changes than it is getting it right based on whatever feedback you had before launch.
Absolutely. I mean, I think iteration is a big part of how we definitely run like community programs for sure at littleBits, but also like our whole product. So it's definitely having the great kind of crew of peers to kind of work with, and then like just being open to things changing and happy with that, I think is definitely key. Unfortunately we have to end. I feel we could keep talking for a long time. But Logan, I don't know, I guess unless you have any questions for us or for the community, it was just amazing to even have you for a short time here on our community call.
I mean, my main question or request, and I know that there's some incredible resources on littleBits. I had the benefit of Aya giving me a great tour of littleBits, and of course I follow it wherever I can. But I just really love it when people take the time to make a really great video about what they've done with littleBits, because I don't know. I mean, at the end of the day, TED Ed is very much video based, and obviously littleBits is different as a product, like it's a tangible physical product. But I think that there's a really magical quality about video where when you record something carefully and really capture the idea and the story around it, and video allows that to, you know, transfer and communicate to everyone in a really unique way. So more great videos is my question and my request and my wish. So thank you.
Absolutely,
Thank you.
and right on. Thank you. Thank you so much, Logan. And to everybody else, thank you for joining us. And we're going to head to the rooms. You guys know the drill. We're going to unlock all the rooms right now, and you can join in. And the chapter rooms are going to work on BitOlympics. BitLab room is going to talk about bits, and me and Dave are going to join you. Okay? Bye.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.